Hello and welcome. We are back again with another Jetpack Compose tutorial video. This time we'll be implementing the Bob mobile app UI UX designed by Taras Mugiko. I think this is the third time we are featuring one of his designs on this channel. And on this design, we'll be implementing this screen, this one. So we have choose what we learned today. We have this lazy row, lazy column, and some other text. So like always, if you want to follow along with this tutorial, head into the repository link found in the description section below and you click the link to the GitHub repository. When you're here, you come to code, you copy the link. This link will be used to clone the project, and in Android Studio, you head into File, New, and Project from Version Control. You'll be presented with this screen and you just paste in the URL you just got, then select Clone. After you're done cloning, make sure you are on the start branch. You come to the start branch and you select checkout like you see here. I don't have the checkout option here because I've already checked out to the start branch. And when you're in the starter branch, you are set to follow along this tutorial video. So first things first, before we start writing any code, it's very important for us to have an overview of the layout we'll be implementing. So let's come back to the dribble page and let's have an overview of this layout. We know we'll be using a scaffold, but this time around we don't have a top app bar and a bottom navigation bar. So we'll just have the body. Even though you don't have the top app bar and the bottom navigation bar, you can still implement the scaffold and leave the top app bar and the bottom app bar optional. Those are optional, those are not mandatory to implement. So we'll just have the body. In the body we'll have text. After the text we'll have a lazy row of items that will be selectable with a different background when selected. You have a dark background when selected and the text color will be white. Then after that we have a box which will contain a row with two items. The first item will be a column and the next will be an image. Then after the box we'll have a text. Then after the text we'll have a lazy column of an item with this. So let's head into Android Studio and actually start writing the code. Into our Android Studio project, we'll come here in the Bob app theme and we'll create a scaffold. In a scaffold, since we'll be using the top app bar and the bottom navigation bar, we'll just move into the body and as our root element or composable, however you call it, as our root composable, we'll have a column. Since all our items will be stacked vertically, we want to give it a modifier and we'll have a background of white. We'll have padding. We'll give it the padding value context gotten from the scaffold, which will be it. And as our custom padding, we want to have a horizontal padding, so the items are pushed away from the edges, and we'll give it a horizontal padding of 20 dp. So after that, we'll move into the body of the column, and in the body of the column, we'll first start with our text. So the method we'll be using for this will be a text view, but we'll use a build annotated string. And all of these have the same font size, so we'll give them a global font size of, let's say, 30 to 40. Then we'll append the first text, which will just be a normal text. Then we'll append a second text with a different style. We'll use a span style for this and we'll make it dark and bold. So let's head into the code. In our column, we'll get a text composable. We first want to give it general values like font size. With a font size of 40 sp. We'll give it a modifier, and this modifier will give it a padding bottom, since we need some space in the bottom for the next upcoming items. Of 25 dp. Now we can give it a text composable. We can give it a text, and this text will be a build annotated string, and in this body we'll first append the first text, which is choose what, and after this we want a new line. Then with style, since to learn today has a different style, so we'll give it with a style of span style, and this span style will give it a font width of bold and a color of black. Then in the body of the style we will append the text, which is to learn today. You can see to learn all day, so it's today. Might have just been a typo. Question mark. Perfect. So let's rearrange our code and have a preview of this. As you can see, after doing this is what we are presented with. Choose what to learn today, just as in the design. Now let's move on to the lazy row. So after the text composable, let's make sure after this we'll create a lazy row, and as properties we'll give it a horizontal arrangement of, and we'll say all the items horizontal. All the items will be spaced by 10 dp. Then we want to give it a modifier, and we'll say the lazy will have a bottom padding of 25 dp. Bottom padding of 25 dp to the next element. So see fire padding bottom of 25 dp, and here is spaced by. In the lazy row, we want to look through the jars list of elements. This we have here above is just a list of text, and for each element found in this list we'll create an item. This is what I call items. So the way we proceed is we say items, and in here it takes in a list with jars, and for each jar, let's arrange our code, and for each jar I want to create a jar composable. It takes in the jar. Now we'll move to the bottom to create a jar composable. At composable annotation, we create a function jar, takes in a text, which is a string. So we will have a box, we'll round the corners, with a background which will vary depending on the selection state. So we'll have a select state, and in the box we'll just have a text center to the middle with padding around the text. So we'll give this space. So firstly we'll have a box, as modifier we want to give it rounded corner shape, so use rounded corner shape. of 30%. 100 corner shape 30%. Want a background color, and the color will vary, so we need to create a variable which will hold the selection state of the composable. So var is selected used by remember, and in here we want a mutable state of false. So by default it will be false. So we'll come in a background. If is selected, the color will be black, else the color will be transparent. Why use transparent? I know the color can't really be transparent. It will be this color. Let's say it will be light gray. I thought it was white. It will be light gray. And how do we know an item has been selected? We can only know that by giving a clickable modifier. And when it's clicked, is selected will be equals to the inverse of the current selected state. Great. So give it a content alignment. And you'll be aligned to the items in the box will be aligned to the center. Now, in the body of the box, we have a text. And firstly, we'll give it a modifier. What do we want to modify? We want to give it padding all around the text of at least 10 dp to create an internal space. We want to give it the text will be equals to the text we get here. The color to vary. If it's selected, the color is white. If it's not selected, the color is dark. So if you can just copy this to save us some time. If it's selected, it's white. If it's not selected, it's black. The text will have a font size of 22 sp and a font width of bold. Perfect. So let's view this on our preview. So the logic is right, but our colors are not that good. Let's go to the color resource file and see if I added a color for the light gray. So seal, and we'll use seal instead of the light gray background. Now is the light gray. I'll use a color resource and as id add color dot seal and check how it looks like. The seal color looks better. Let's start interactive mode. Wait for it to put. Okay, it has put. Let's test the selection state. I'll be clicking this. Okay, dark and white text. Okay, goes back and it scrolls. Perfect. So let's stop this. Let's now move on to the next section, which will be this. We have a box on the corner edges. Then in the box we have some padding all around. We'll give the items in here some padding. Then we'll make a row, since we have two blocks of composable items stacked horizontally. Then the first item will be a column, text, button with an icon. And the next item will just be an image. And let's not forget to have to give it a background color. It's in a color resource file. Let's just say purple. I think this is dark purple. So let's give us some space. Let's just only show the code tab. So after the lazy row, make sure after the lazy row, we want to create the box. Give it a modifier. And what do you want to modify? We first want to modify the padding. We want to give it a padding n so it does not touch the end of the screen. I'll give it a padding n of 20 dp. Then we want to give it a rounded corner shape using clip. Rounded corner shape. And we'll give it a radius of 10%. Not forgetting the background. We'll give it a color resource with id r.color dot min. Kind of weird naming, but that's fine. This. In the box, we'll have a row as promised, and want to align the items vertically to the center. So vertical alignment, center vertically. Our first item in the row will be a column, like our first block in the row will be a column. And we'll give it a modifier to modify the padding. We want to give it a vertical padding, top and bottom of 30 dp. Vertical padding 30 dp, 30 dp. Also want to give it a padding start of 20 dp. In the column, we'll first have two texts. The first will be vocabulary, and the second text will be listing 20 new words. Listen to 20 new words. Our first will be a bit bold with a color of white, and the next text will be like a normal text. So our first text, we'll give it the text of vocabulary. The color obviously of white. A font size a to be big of the 2sp. A font weight of bold. Let's arrange our code. Let's code, give some space. After the text, we want a spacer. You can also use to inject a modifier into this first text view and give it a padding of a bottom padding of 10 dp. Give it a size of 10 dp. So after the spacer, we'll have a second text. I'll give it a text. The text will be, what will be the text be? Listing 20 new words. Listing to 20 new words, preferable. Listen to 20 new words. It will be a color of white. And we have a little font size. So compared to the first text, we want to give it a font size of 20 sp. Let's get our code. So after the text, we have another spacer, this, before having our button. Now a spacer. We'll give it a size of 40. 10. Let's create our button. As modifier, want to give our button a size. Want to give the size. So for height, you have a height of 60 dp and a width of 100. And by the way, I got these values by using the measuring widget. You can find here by using the measuring widget to measure this. basically. So one field height of 60 dp and a width of 120 dp. Then the button has rounded corners, obviously, so we'll clip it. Oh, I'll give it around a radius of 20% on all edges. By default, a button has on click action, which you must implement. The as would be null. And to change the color of the button, we'll give it the color of button default dot button colors. And in here, we want to give a background color of white. Now, in the button, we have a text followed by a circular shape. We'll use a box, and in there will be an icon, which will be a play button. So, in this button, we first have a text composable. Text will start. We have a color of black and a font size of 18 sp. After this, we have a spacer. We'll give the space a size of 10 dp. After that, we have the box. Give the box a fixed size of 30 dp. We want to make it round, so we use a circle shape and a background color of black. We want to align the content of this box to the center. In the box now, we have an icon. We want to give it a size. Now I want to give an icon some padding so it won't touch the edges. The default size of an icon I think is 16 dp. It always starts at 16. So that will be small enough for us to use in this tutorial. I want to give it a padding all around of 5 dp. Image vector to set the image of the icon. I use the default compose icons, the icons field, play arrow. Of course, we have a content description to help the disabled, and we'll say arrow icon or play icon, and change the color of our icon to white. Now let's preview it and see how it looks like. So as you can see, we are right on the design. We have a button with a play icon, put two text, vocabulary, and the listen to 20 new words. We can't really match the font sizes because obviously we don't have the design file to know the right font size is using, but at least we can have something almost similar to that. So all we have left here is the image. So to start putting our image in a, let's go back to our root row and let's collapse our column. So after the column now, we can create an image composable, enter resource because we have an image in a drawable folder, and we'll give it an ID. Let's collapse this. The ID of drawable dot brainy. So I use a somewhat concise name there. Content description. what we'll call it, avatar image. This is an avatar image, and I want to create a modifier now. I'll give it a width of 1f and fill let's say false, and I will do it for our image. So after this section we have a text. So let's find our box for this voucher and let's collapse this. So after our box we'll have a text composable. We'll give it a text recommended, a color. What color is it? Is a black, with a black color black. What you have to spell. We'll give it a font width of bold, a font size. We want it to rather be tiny, so we'll create a font size of 28 sp. It's tiny heading, and as modifier we want to give it a vertical padding, both top and bottom, of 30 dp. So after this we'll give it a vertical padding, so we have a bottom padding of 30, so we can start creating these items without worry. After this we have a famous lazy column, and a lazy column will have a modifier which should just be padding, and a padding to the end so it doesn't, the items don't touch the end of the screen. I'll give it a padding end of 20 dp. Sorry. You can well as use SP, but SP is a convention better used for text composables. We want a vertical arrangement of arrangement dot spaced by ten dp. And this lazy column we want, let's just say we want 3 items. We'll just create this composable item and duplicate it 3 times, since we don't have any real data. But in a production application, I think all this information, you get this information from the server, and from that information you can look through each information and set the parameters accordingly. But for this tutorial we'll just create this composable and just repeat it, like duplicate it. So yeah, we'll say items, and we can also pass it a count. We want 3 items, and for each of these we'll create a composable called, let's just call them recommended, and it takes in nothing. We'll come to the bottom, and under jars, let me just collapse this. I'll create a new composable, or composable function, call it recommended. So let's have an overview of our recommended composable. We have a box with round the corner shape. This background, the background seal, the same as this one. And in here we have 3 blocks of items. We have another box which contains an icon round the corner shape. We have a column containing 2 texts. One will be bold and the other will be gray. And our last block will just be an icon button containing bookmark. So let's head back to our Android Studio and start building a recommended composable. We'll scroll up and we want to create a box first. Obviously, we'll give it modifiers, and the first we want it to fill the max width, then one rounded corner shape, one rounded corner edges. So we'll clip it and give it rounded corner shape, and we want the corners to have a radius of 20%. Then we'll give it a background color of seal. So we'll use the color resource. In here we have an id r.color.seal. We want the content to be aligned, so content alignment of center. And in the body of the box, we want a row, since our items will be stacked vertically. No, sorry, items will be stacked horizontally. Want a row, and as modifier, want to make it to fill the max width, obviously. And want to give it a padding all around of at least 10 cp. And want to align the items center vertically. Vertical alignment, center vertically. In the body of the row for our first block, we have a box. I want to have a modifier. I want to make it rounded edges. So it's a rounded corner shape, 20%. I want a background color. We already have it in our color resource file. So use the color resource r.color, r.color.orange. I want to align the content to the center. And the box will just have an icon. Image vector icons.field.email. We have a content description for the disabled, and it shows the icon. We want the icon to be white, so we'll give it a tint of white. And we want to give the icon an all-round padding and a fixed size. So we'll give it a modifier. First give it a size of the 2 then padding of 10 Just as a segue, if you enjoy these tutorials, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate your notification bell so you always be notified for any latest video uploads. So let's continue. After I've put the icon out of this box, let's first get initial code. Out of this box, let's collapse the box. After the box, we'll have a column which will contain 2 texts. Want to arrange them vertically to space between, horizontally to center horizontally, and in the column affects text. We have a text of chatting. We have a color of black and a font size of 20 sp. Also have a font width of bold. Our next text, our text will be 5 minutes. See, let's go at the design. We'll add chatting up here, black color, bold, font size of 20. Our next text is 5 minutes, a color of dark gray, and a smaller font size. We'll give you a font size of 18 sp. So 5 minutes, we'll have a color of dark gray, and a font size of 18 sp. After this, we want to have a spacer. We'll give it a weight of 1 so she will occupy as much use as it can before we can now create icon button, since he has a select state and a non-select state. So let's create a spacer with a modifier giving a weight of 1. So after this column, let's collapse this. We want to have a spacer. Well, we'll give it a weight of 1f, small float. After this, we'll have our icon button. Let's do for click action. It should be empty for now. And in the body of our icon button, we'll have an icon, image vector, icons field, bookmark. Well, I'll use a star. Can't find the bookmark icon here. The content description. So now I'll have to give a tint of the icon, but the icon will have a select and an unselect state. So firstly, I have to create a variable to hold the selection state. So call it is selected by remember mutable state of false. So by default is not selected. So in the tint, if is selected, color dot yellow, like a star. When star is selected, it's a yellow color, else the color will be light gray. We could not get a bookmark. We could not get this specific bookmark icon, but you could put the bookmark icon if you want to. We are not specifically using this bookmark icon, but you could. Well, let's move into the code. And let's say we want to give our icon a modifier. I want to give it a fixed size, which will be 32 GB. And with this, we are done with our design. Let's preview it on emulator preview. So as you can see, we are done with our design, and we could replicate up to 90% of this design of the Brainball mobile app. So to create this space, all you have to do is just to add a padding stat to the column that contains the text composables. So don't forget to add that. You can also run this on your mobile phone or emulator to see the end result. So if you follow this video to the end, once more I thank you for following this video, and I hope you appreciated the video. If you want to have more of this kind of content, what you first have to do is subscribe to the channel and then switch on your notification icon to receive latest updates about every video post. And also don't forget to check our community, as I'll be releasing teasers of our upcoming videos and a little bit of tutorials and polls. Don't also forget to share this video with your friends and also like the video, as you will help me to rank higher in the YouTube algorithm. So without wasting much of your time, goodbye and see you in another video.